So, like so many people before me, now and after me, I watch far too many car shows. I have far too many ideas and not enough common sense to realize when I'm in over my head. So, what I want to do is I want to take this car, mix it with this bus. I'm going to power it with a 225 Slant 6 motor with a 904 torque flight automatic transmission. And I'm going to add a really sweet straight axle front end to give it that really like old school hot rod look. And hopefully end up with something that looks like this. What could possibly go wrong? Now, I do believe in giving credit where credit is due. I can never be accused of stealing anything from anybody. So I've seen tons of, combos of Beetles and buses. And, but they always looked kind of comical, kind of cheesy. They never really look like very hot rod like until I saw this build from Village Customs down in North Carolina. And that was kind of what cemented it in my head of like, oh my God, now that looks hot rod as hell. And that's what I want to build. Just, some of the differences, they have, airbags, and he has a Chevy V6 in the back, and I'm doing the Slant 6 up in front. So some differences, but this really is where I got a lot of the inspiration to actually do it, because I could see it actually did look like what was in my head. And so I sold the fenders since I don't need them, and I sold the deck lid and the bumpers, and I just about made up my money of what I have in it. So yeah, it sits a little high because these wheels are what's going to go on it. But if I was using any of the Beetle body and suspension, it would be too high. But this has a 4-inch drop straight axle. And back here, I'm going to have a Z'd frame that I'll make. And yeah, I know. I'm very optimistic. And then it gets cut here. So all of the back of the bug goes away. How much of this I need will depend on, overall wheelbase and what I have for the bus. The top of, I'm gonna chop this down maybe 2 inches, maybe more, depends on how much room I have to sit, so I still have headroom. And then I'm gonna replace the top of it with the roof skin that I have that has the B-pillar back. And then I have 2 more doors that I'm going to cut here and weld those doors on, but chopped, so that I have, because I don't want to have the open thing and no windows and all that kind of good stuff. And the windows that are in this car are meant for the doors with the frame. Anyway, it's looking more like a car. Can't wait to get started on this. All right, I'm using this as historical documentation because I know that whenever I do finish this project, somebody is going to give me shit for cutting up a perfectly good bus. So I need to show you that this is not a perfectly good bus. This is perfectly decent for what I need, which is basically some of this part and the back half. And even that's pretty questionable. Paid $200 for it. The guy that I bought it from, he had already sold the front end. You can see it's pretty crusty, but since I am mating this up to a bug, then it needs to be a lot lower. So a lot of the crusty area is going to be cut out. And I don't need sliding doors, so I will possibly replace this with a piece that is solid, not solid, but comes all the way down. But not sure about that. There's a lot of repair to do. A lot of the stuff, you know, like depending on, I think where I'm gonna cut it is somewhere, the last time I recall measuring was somewhere above the wheel well, which comes like this. So what I'll do is I'll cut the tail section out so I can see if I can move that up to make it, you know, about here. And then the tailgate, I do have that. I just took that off. Tailgate comes to here. No, comes to here. And so it's possible that all I have left is a small piece here that I can patch in. So yeah, look at the original shag carpet. But you can imagine that smells is actually worse than you think right now. So right now what I'm doing is I'm gonna separate it from the frame. I could try to drill out the bolts and all that stuff, but actually I'm gonna cut below where I need, so I have more to cut off. My shop inspector is telling me that, you know, exercise caution, cut off a little, and then I'm gonna go right down the middle, so it'll be two halves. Because what this has to do is has to narrow about roughly 10 inches. So I'm just gonna cut it down the middle so I can store it over there in the meantime. All right, so I kind of went with the easy stuff first. I cut out the taillight shape because, like I said, I will be grafting these back into the body somewhere, you know, about here. Since I'm lowering the body, I need to raise the taillights, and I like these. The shape is cool because it comes out like there. I think that looks cool, and if I get it nice and tucked in up underneath, then it should look pretty slick. I tell you, cutting this, so I've cut here and I've cut across. I still got to cut across this side, but right now I'm cutting down the middle, and I just put a strap where I've already cut this part, and as I get past that structural piece there, I'll put another strap on to because I don't want it to fall apart and mess up this perfect body work. I mean, look at that. That is just razor sharp straight. It's not that bad actually, but yeah, getting closer. She's cut, but something in here is hanging me up, and I've cut all the way across. So I guess it's part of it must be part of this floor here. It's still somewhere attached to the frame. I'm feeling like I'm gonna find that one spot and it's gonna go and fall apart. Wow, that dude cannot cut a straight line to save his life. We're gonna have to fire him down and get somebody else. There's a lot of little stuff in there, yeah, to cut. It was all this section in here. That's why I was like, you know what, I don't really need the wheel wells. I mean, maybe I will, but I'm gonna have to do a whole new floor anyway. Rousell may be my spirit animal, but he sure does make this look a whole hell of a lot easier on TV than it does, or than it actually was. It was a hell of a lot of cutting in finding all of the doodads in here. I thought I was going to keep this part of the floor, because I don't know, given the floor of the bus comes up, not know where in the floor is. But anyway, I just cut all that crap out. But thank you, bus. You gave a good fight. Kampfvergnugen.